Hi everyone, Gemma here. Thank you for watching today. So continuing on with my Mother's Day series, I've got this chocolate gift box. Another one you say. Yeah, it's a similar sort of style that I've been sharing, but obviously your sizing is different and it's for, you know, a different tray or box of chocolates. So hopefully I don't just make these projects, I make them for, you know, gifts for a particular theme or time of year. So this is obviously for Mother's Day. And I just think, you know, a box of chocolates or something sort of that caliber is, you can jazz it up, you can make it extra special by making your own gift packaging. So I've got a tray of Ferrero Rochers in here. So this is a very, well, it's not very, but it is a large gift box. So the final measurement is 9 by 9, so 9 squared. You open this up and you've got a tray inside, all these lovely pattern papers. Sorry, I'm just trying to readjust it so you can see it on screen there. So you've got quite a large sort of pocket there, so you could use this for a variety of gifts. I said I'll say sort of as we go along in the video, you could put a photo frame in here. It doesn't have to be chocolates, it could be something else. This is a 300-gram size, so 24 pieces that fit nicely in here. No specialty dies are required to make this project. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the outer wrap for the gift box, then we'll work on the inner tray and then the final decoration. So we'll do the mats and layers sort of at each stage. So we'll work on the wrap, I'll give you the measurements for the mats and layers, then we'll work on the tray and so on. So I am using larger size cardstock for this particular project. Reason being is the chocolate box is obviously of a larger size, so I need to accommodate for that, but you could be using a smaller tray of chocolates or something different, so you may be able to size this down. It's not too complicated, so you can adjust the measurements to sort of suit the project that you want this for. So the largest piece that you need to cut is 11 and a quarter by 9. Along the 11 and a quarter inch side, score it 1/2 inch and 2 and a quarter. And then you need 2 pieces, but again, you don't necessarily need 2. You might just be happy with the 1. I'm using 2 as the base to hide the join between the wrap and also strengthen it. But again, depending on your project, you might just want to have the 1 piece. So I've got 2 pieces of 9 by 9. So I'm just going to fold and burnish along the score lines. So all the folds are mounting folds, and really quick bit of trimming. I've got this 1/2 inch tab here on the right hand side. I'm just taking a little wedge off that just to hide sort of any join between the 2 pieces of cardstock. So I'm going to put the tab now on the left hand side and take one of my squares and attach that to the side there. There we go. So we're just attaching those together. You want to make sure that the top and the bottom marry up, so you've got a nice square base. Just going to burnish that tab down so we've got good attachment. And then this is where I was saying you might not want that extra piece. Obviously you can see that join and you'll be able to see that either on the inside or the outside. When you add your pattern papers, it will be less visible, but if you're sort of trying to limit the amount of cardstock that you use, then this may be one of the ways that you reduce that. So I'm adding clal glue all along this panel here. As I said, I'm going to use this to help strengthen the box. The chocolate's not too heavy, but you might want to put a photo frame in here or something that is similar in size. So you might need that strength to hold that in place. Just marry that up over the top just to hide that join. So I've just flipped this around so that I've got the join now here on the right hand side, and these two pieces of cardstock will hold the tray in place. So I'll just give you the measurements for these pieces. So in total you want 4 of the larger squares and 2 of the thinner strips. So these will be exactly the same size on sort of the inner wrap and then on the outer wrap. So it's 8 3/4 squared for the larger square, and the strip is 1.5 by 8 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these ones on the inside. And then before I attach the ones on the outside or the front of the cover, I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon on the inside or underneath the panel to tie it together. So I'm going to move on to the tray next. As I said, I am using larger cardstock for this project. So it's the 13 by 6 1/4. So I've used white A3 cardstock to create the pieces that I need for today's project. If you've got the little cardstock, you should have the length and the width you need for this piece. Obviously, if you're outside of the UK, you might not have access to this size of cardstock. So I'm going to talk you through the measurements for this piece, and then I'll quickly go over a deconstructed version just to help those with the smaller size of cardstock. So as I said, 13 by 6 1/4. Along the 13-inch side, scored 1/2 and 2 1/4. Then just rotate so you're at the opposite side, and the same score lines again, 1/2 and 2 1/4. And then rotate this onto the shorter side and score at 1/2 and 2 1/4. So go down to as far as you can and then just flip it over to the top of your scoreboard and just line up those score lines. If you want to flip it back over just to reinforce those score lines, just line it up in a track and just go over like so. So if you're doing a deconstructed version, you'll want 2 side pieces, a bottom piece, and then a final panel. So for the 2 side pieces, I would cut 2 pieces of 2 3/4 by 6 1/4. Along the 2 3/4 side, score at 1/2 and 2 1/4, and then along the 6 1/4 side, score at 1/2 and 2 1/4. So that's your 2 side pieces. Then for your bottom piece, you'd want a piece of 2 3/4 by 8 1/2. Along the 2 3/4 side, scored 1/2 and 2 1/4. And then you'd want one large panel that measures 4 by 8 1/2. So attach the side panels and the bottom panel together, and then you should have a 1/2 inch tab sort of as a U shape around the side here, and then you place your panel over the top just to finish that off. Okay, so we're going to fold and burnish along the score lines. So all the folds are mountain folds, and we're going to do a little bit of trimming. So So with the 1/2 inch tab at the bottom, we're going to work left to right, and we want to free up these score lines. So you're going to cut up past the first score line to the second, and do that for all of the score lines along this bottom edge. So I've rotated my cardstock and I've gone ahead and cut away those pieces. But I'm going to show you the same cutting process on the opposite side, so you'll end up with two side pieces that look the same. So I've taken it from the bottom with a 1/2 inch tab there, and then rotated so that the 1/2 inch tab is on the left hand side. And you've got these two outer pieces, you've got a square and a rectangle. You're just going to cut across that score line and remove those two pieces, like so. And then while you have this in position, remove that bottom rectangle. Okay, so if I put it back there, you've got the square, and basically we've removed an L shape from this corner. Rotate it back, and we're going to take a little wedge off this 1/2 inch panel, 1/2 inch tab that we've created, like so, and then rotate back, just take a little wedge off this tab here, and then finally a little wedge along the bottom piece. So if I place that back down on my mat now, you should be left with a piece like this. So it's all going to fold in like so. So these tabs will attach to this bottom, and then it'll sort of form this tray, and we'll attach it inside using these 1/2 inch tabs. So first of all, I'm going to add some quick grab glue on these bottom tabs, like so. If you're worried about your fit, you can grab your tray of chocolates. I'm just gonna get mine from the side there, and you can use this as support. So just place that down on the bottom edge, like so, and bring up that bottom panel. Now I've left enough room, so you shouldn't have any issue as long as you create that nice square edge there, just bringing those two sides up, getting that nice right angle. I think the only issue we'll have is if you don't square that off and you bring the sides in too much, and then it'll sort of, rather than it being straight like this, it'll bend in. That should nicely fit inside. I have left a little bit of a gap, as I said, so shouldn't have too much of an issue there. Just going to burnish those score lines and tack this in place now, just to help us hold it together, ready to sit inside the tray that we created. And again, you might find it useful to have the box of chocolates just to hand, so that you don't, again, when you attach it, when it doesn't sort of splay open or go inwards, you want that nice right angle. So I'm going to use quick grab glue for this. You can use Collal glue if you want, or red tape, double-sided tape, your preferred method of attaching this. So first of all, I'm just going to concentrate on getting that on the right hand side and there's sort of an equal border between the top and bottom. I'm just going to check that my box of chocolates fits nicely inside. Once you're happy with the positioning, just go in with your bone folder and press those tabs down. And again, just be mindful that you're not pushing those sides out, just burnishing the position that it's in. So there we go, so that sits nicely inside, and then the top folds over like so. So I'm just going to decorate this tray now with some embossed panels that I've created. So I've got this really nice pink cardstock, and I've used a Made to Surprise embossing folder. This is the linen embossing folder. So I've got a large panel to sit over the front there, another panel to sit on the side or the bottom, and then 2 panels for the sides. So this front panel measures 3 1/4 by 8 1/4. The 2 smaller side panels measure 3 1/4 by 1 1/2, and this longer panel is 8 1/4 by 1 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and just attach those now to that panel, and then we're just going to finish off with some decoration on the front of the project. So I've gone ahead and I've attached all of the embossed panels on the front there. You can add further decoration here if you wish. I'm going to keep mine pretty simple. I like the embossed effect. You've got all that lovely detail from the pattern paper inside, and now I'm just going to concentrate on the front. So I've gone ahead and I've created a panel which I'm just going to sit on the left hand side of the front here. So I've got that same pink cardstock that I've embossed on the inside, following that pattern paper through from the inside also with this lovely floral pattern, and then I've got a strip of vellum. So the pink measures 3 1/2, so they're all the same height. I'll give you that in a moment. The pattern paper is 3 1/4, and they're both 8 3/4 tall. The strip of vellum I've cut longer so I can wrap it round so I can attach it to the back, and the width of that is 2. So maybe if you've got 12 or a length of A4 cardstock, that will fit around in nicely. And I've just added some double-sided foam adhesive on the whole strip there. I am going to add some wet glue just so I've got a bit of movement if I need it when I'm placing this on the front of the gift box. So I'm going to just leave about 1/2 inch gap on the left hand side, and then the edge of this will line up to the edge of the larger panel of pattern paper there. I'm just going to press that down in place. I've got this gorgeous flower that I've created. I've got the vellum again, I've heat embossed with white Wow embossing powder. I've got the pink card underneath, so it gives this sort of frosted pink look, and that's going to sit on the front. I'm going to pop that up onto some foam, and then I've got all this foliage in similar colours to match the pattern paper. So I've got various shades of green, sort of a dark, medium and a lighter green, and then some white pieces as well. So I'm just going to add a few pieces behind the flower and just pop that just maybe down towards the bottom, somewhere like so. I'm going to tie the ribbon off. I made this project, funny enough, about a year or so ago, and I'll show you my original project. I made it and I filmed the tutorial, but I wasn't quite happy with it, so I never I never fully edited it and uploaded it. So this is the one that I made like back last year, using the gorgeous pattern paper. This is the Butterfly Kisses. It's got this lovely rose glitter cardstock with the butterflies on the front. I used the decoupage kit then for that topper, just added some ribbon, and I think this was an offcut piece from a card that I made, so I just stuck that behind for some texture, added some Nouveau drops, and then that's the inside of the box. And I completely forgot about it. So the chocolates sat inside this gift box in a cupboard and they went off. I don't even know how that's possible. If you know me, you know I absolutely love my chocolate, and I clearly forgot that they were there. But yeah. So that's the first project. So hopefully you're enjoying the recreation of this. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video from me. If you have, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. It does help and support my channel to grow, and it'll sort of recommend my videos then to other viewers that maybe haven't heard of my channel or come across any of my videos before. So I'm just going to be mindful when I open this back up. I'll hold it a little close so you can see that gorgeous detail on the flower and the foliage. I use some pin flare. This is a really great 3D glue gel. So it's a great alternative to your hot glue if you don't feel comfortable using that, and also you don't have any strings with that type of glue. You just want to make sure that you close the top as soon as you've used it, otherwise it does seal up and then you haven't got access. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on that because it does take a time to dry. But the wonderful thing about that, you've got lots of movement with it. So if you're never 100% with your placement, you've got time to wiggle it about. Anyway, so this is the inside of the box, that gorgeous pattern paper there. The flowers slot in that pocket really nicely. As I said, it doesn't have to be chocolates. It could be a different type of gift. As I said, a photo frame perhaps. You know, you've got lots of options to add your gift inside there, and you can size up or size down depending on the gift or sort of the box of chocolates then that you might want to add. So any products used in today's video will be listed in the description box below. It has been limited supplies, so if the pattern paper is available, I'll link that. And then I used Chloe's Creative Cards for the flower die and stamp, and then the foliage dies from My Creative Life. So I'm sure you've seen those on my channel before. I'm using the sort of the same products for the Mother's Day gift baskets or hampers that I'm creating, so you will sort of see me use the same things you know, across this series. So once again, thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.